Hello and welcome everyone to the first episode of the Y-Files, a series in which I'll present to you the facts and mysteries from the production process, some concept artwork, unused ideas and other interesting things. Each episode of this new series will focus on a corresponding episode of Team Y, and while there are only 2 at the moment, I'm sure it will change with time. This episode will be public for 2 weeks, then I'm aiming to release the second one, while this one will become unpublic. That's because I don't want to have a mess on my channel. But don't worry, you'll still be able to get here. I'll expand on that in the description though. Yeah, if you are my subscriber and you have never read descriptions, you've probably missed a lot of stuff. Anyways, let's jump into the episode itself. An obvious thing is that the first episode of this behind the scenes series would focus on the first episode of the Mother series. So, without any further ado, hello and welcome to another episode of A Brief History. Today's episode, Team Y. Ready, set, go! Somewhere in Poland, 2015. Alright, I'll better stop here. Seriously though, why 2015 you may ask? You see, some of you may know it, but plans for Team Y animated series already existed in the first year of the universe, when our trinity, me, Yar31 and Mike24 was all about it. We had 3 different Team Y universes in mind. Each of them would be presented by a different form of media. First one, a comics universe. Yeah, there were supposed to be Team Y comics made by Mike24. The second one, a novel universe. The books would be written by Yar31. And the third one, a cartoon universe. That one would be created by me. If you're confused, think of how Marvel or DC do it. They've got many separate universes, the comic ones, cartoons, TV shows, movies, each one with a different style or tone. And that's how it was supposed to work with ours. If it comes to the first cartoon attempt, my main inspiration was Teen Titans animated series. I was rewatching it a lot during that time. The story would begin from the Team Y origin. I mean, every hero would already exist and fight crime in his times, but it would be sort of their meeting like the Avengers style. And the premiere would be a 2-parter with each part lasting 40 minutes. Pretty ambitious, right? I remember that the first episode would be a simple non-action story about the team arranging their brace and going to a home improvement shop. Yet I don't remember the plot of the 4th episode, but I'm sure Nature Man was going to debut here. Yep, he and the Hunter weren't supposed to be in their original roster back then. More on that in episode 2. Fireman was also going to appear, probably as the villain of the week. I also recollect developing a story of Team Y being asked to star in a commercial or something like that. These and other episodes after the premiere wouldn't be connected that much, but they would all lead to a greater finale, including aliens and Fireman as the main villain. However, maybe that was a little too much for 12-year-olds. Each one of us ditched his project sooner or later. Mike also abandoned FJM Heroes as a whole. Meanwhile, sometime around May 2015, I scrapped the first version of Team Y cartoon. I wanted to release it somewhere in June, but couldn't even start the intro. It was all supposed to be done in Paint, but I didn't even know how to animate it. I mean, how to make fluent movements and all of that. However, I did manage to make some random images from different scenes. Here you are. Anyway, I cancelled that and decided to take over Yaro's responsibilities. I wrote the Acrobat and Team Y books, but they are not canon in any way as they were crappy and I rewrote both over a year later. But on the 3rd August 2015, sometimes I have good memory for dates, right after coming back from vacation in Weba, I decided to try again with a Team Y cartoon. It would be a little more goofy and comedy based, sort of like Teen Titans Go, but don't. There would still be some action though, so that's good. Now this? I had plans of 2 seasons for this one. I even managed to make an opening in the first 1.5 minutes of the first episode. Sadly, I only have some single frames taken from my NK account. Here they are. In November of that year, I ditched the idea for cartoon and haven't done anything about it until... On 17th January, I started developing the concept and plot for the first season of the third attempt for Team Y animated series, which you all know and love. I think. I decided to not start from the origins, as I was already writing the Team Y novel, telling the origin story of the team. Yeah, I didn't really want to do the same thing time and time again, so I decided to start like a year after the team was created, and to introduce characters like HRS, Super Samurai and Mr. Me. If you are wondering, my inspirations were other superhero animated series like Justice League, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes and Young Justice. The last one was the main inspiration and you can totally see it. I mean, timestamps, you can say it's copying, true. However, I knew I had to include them as they are pretty important for a show about time travelers. Originally, the first episode was supposed to be what you know as the second one, and the second one would be what you'll know as the third. Meaning, the series premiere would be a two-parter. First part Happy Birthday, second part Legion of Chaos Attacks. However, sometime in March, when I was making the crappy series trailer, I came up with an idea for so-called Episode 0, which would be a pilot episode. It would revolve around Acrobat's mission to stop the weapon smugglers. Does that sound familiar? However, firstly it was supposed to be a big exposition device. Acrobat would tell the viewer about his team and the stuff he's usually doing. Then, I decided to include HRS and Super Samurai. Ultimately, I pushed the numbers one up. Episode 0 maintained its pilot, but also became Episode 1. The two-parter got transferred to Episodes 2 and 3, and so on. Phew! That was long! And that was just a history segment to tell you about previous versions of the animated series. Well, now let's finally jump onto... Okay, I already touched the plot, so it's time to expand on that. As I said earlier, Acrobat was supposed to kinda explain the world he's living in to the viewer, and even summarize Team Y origin. It would take place in his thoughts during the flight to docks, sort of like in episode 1 of Warships Code Alpha by WP Drive. But I guess even my 2016 self knew it was a bad idea, a cheap exposition without any build-up. Alright, the story you know from the episode was more or less the same throughout the months of the production, and creating it? That was quite a nostalgic thing for me. Almost every day from May to June, when I was coming back from school, I would think of what would happen and what the characters would say. Basically, I was writing the script in my head, and right after getting back home I used to write it all down on my computer. I put the entire story together in my head. The thing about it though, the ending. That was the only one major thing I changed later. Here's how I think it was laid out. Everything succeeding the Acrobat's call to his friends was different. You see, in this version of the story, everyone accepted the call. Both Flair and Polish Patriot. But also Living Ice, who ultimately was just mentioned, and Natureman with the Hunter, who didn't even appear at all. Well, besides their logos on the com. Yes, they would all travel to the present to help Acrobat and HRS in fighting General John. I don't remember Super Samurai being alongside them though, so I guess that was the reason why I threw away the idea. And, most likely, because animating all their powers would be too difficult for 2016 me. But for real, I think I really wanted to include the samurai, but if I went with the ending I just told about, there wouldn't be a place for him. And honestly, I'm happy I changed that. Yes, it is kinda dumb. After all, the show is called Team Y and there's only one actual member of Team Y in the main story. But that allowed me to put the viewer in the position of HRS and Super Samurai. The team has existed for a year, they have a history behind them, and suddenly these two heroes joined them and are all new to everything. Besides, this made these two the main focus of pilot, while Happy Birthday introduces us and develops the OG Team Y, forgetting HRS and Samurai for a while. The first two episodes focus on two different branches of characters, with Acrobat being the bridge between them. As stupid as I was, and sometimes still am, that was a smart move in my opinion. I mean, maybe that's just me, looking on it from the creator's position. In that case, I need someone who can look on it with a fresh eye. So tell me, what do you think about this concept? Has it worked out? Be sure to let me know. So that was probably the only one of major things. After scrapping it, I don't think there were much other changes, just some silly and irrelevant things, and both were connected to OG Team Y cameos. Before we start, the thing about them was that they were kinda inspired by an unexpected Flash guest role in Suicide Squad.
No honor among thieves, eh?
I really wanted to show everyone, hey, you think this universe is just Acrobat, Team Y and John with other arch-enemies in the present times? Hell no! Team Y comes from different time periods, you see, and there are many other different characters out there. Yeah, that was kinda a stupid idea, but did it really come out that bad? Again, that's for you to judge. Anyway, the other changes were all here. First of all, Polish Patriots came in. He was supposed to be in the middle of the fight, just like Fleur, and he would fight with none other than Sergei Rybakov. That would be +1 villain already introduced, appearing again in episode 2. But, you guessed it, the idea has been abandoned due to how hard it would be to animate, at least back then. Instead, I made Polish Patriot stand in his crazy pose on a crate, trying not to break the glass under him. But there was going to be a third scene, featuring rest of Team Y, and I decided to show it to you in form of storyboards. Just keep in mind that I remember the situation I wanted to present, I remember the characters that were there, but I don't remember what they were all supposed to say. That saying, all dialogues here are written by 2019 me, trying to recreate what I had in mind 3 years ago. Very well, here we go.
Target my friend. Decline.
Damn it. There's always living ice.
Not nice of you to constantly escape from prison, fireman.
Nature man, could you please distract him for a moment?
Sure thing.
Hey Acrobat, what is it?
Somebody answered. Finally. Anyway, I met a new hero and we're fighting General John and Wolfman. Well, already defeated the beast, but John is making trouble as always. We need some help.
Look, I'm in the middle of a fight too, so scratch me and Nature man. Sorry.
Damn. That leaves just the hunter.
Yeah, we've all been there.
It's not in being. It's just I already have an archer with me. Well, archeress if that's a word.
So it's a she. Somebody's gonna score tonight, eh?
Shut up. I'm gonna call him. Might be worth a try. Okay. That's the last one, the hunter. Maybe at least he will help. You'll like him. He uses ranged weapon too. So I guess we cannot even count on him.
Maybe we'll make it ourselves.
Okay, that was it more or less. I think that was everything regarding the plot. Next up, time for some fun. Time for some facts. Time for some... Let's start from the very beginning. The FJM Heroes logo. That's something I decided to include to keep Team Y separate from my other videos. Also, I said I was strongly inspired by Young Justice, and that show had a Warner Bros. Logo on the very beginning of every episode. I guess I wanted to go the same way, but obviously I don't have a distributor or a company. Next up, we're stopping on the opening scene already. Believe it or not, but the first 15 seconds or so were actually storyboarded. Yes, I originally wanted to make storyboards first to go the professional way. If that's a thing for a PaintNet animator. But well, I got bored by it and stopped on that. Now here's an interesting coincidence. The warehouse behind General John and the transforming robots. Despite action being set in Szczecin, the city's port in this case, I haven't based that building off anything. Yet, during holidays 2016 I was around the Szczecin port a few times and I noticed something. Pretty similar, right? Now that's called luck. Okay, what's next? Ah yes, nothing. Let's jump a little further. Right, many of you may have noticed these. I honestly have no idea where these pixel drops came from. Let's go on. Okay, I think you remember this picture. I've shown it as one of the singular frames from the second version of Team Y. Well, I admit that I have used this archive material in the actual episode, the whole turning sequence actually, and the same goes for the explosion and flare in the shitty intro. That came from the second version as well.
Hey, you haven't connected. I always connect.
Ah, fuck. Look, this... Excuse me, but keep in mind it was 2016 and despite me being good in English, I still used to make stupid major mistakes. That was a horrible translation from the Polish version, you see. What I really wanted the Wolfman and Archeress to say there was, "You missed. I never miss." Yep, stupid mistake because I was a stupid kid. Well, I still am, just not a kid anymore. Naturally, the first episode is full of 2015 and 2016 memes.
Me? My name is...
But there are also many references and Easter eggs.
If there was an entrance, there must be an exit too.
That's a reference to a Polish comic book series Tytus, Romek i Atomek, which was a big part of my childhood, by the way. These are quite obvious. This one is obviously a parody of Subway Surfers. Very poorly done. Ah, I'm sure you know these guys. Yes, these are Tobias Sanders and Larry Mealy. You may know them from No Lives Home Alone, but originally they were Saturn's characters, with the first appearance being one of Dr. Saturn's shorts. It's worth mentioning that they were actually based off his scenes.
She. What? Sorry, Wolfman. I haven't got a she.
Oh She is a spoof of the drink of similar name. I could have used the original name, but well, I don't want to commit crypto advertising. And I'm not going to do that here as well. Now, an interesting thing about the place Polish Patriot is in, which from episode 2 you know is Sergei Rybakov's base, is that it's a direct reference to one of Saturn's Minecraft drawings. It features his character called Villager number 26, an ASAB agent. So yeah, I wanted to pay some homage to the Axel era.
It's just the beginning. Did you hear? Beginning. You see, I will escape from here.
Ah yes, the last one. The Phil cameo. Maybe you figured it out, maybe not, but it's sort of FJM's version of Marvel's Stan Lee cameos. Rest in peace. So yeah, keep in mind that Phil's going to appear in every FJM production. Sometimes in the background, sometimes on the front, sometimes with a line and sometimes being shy, but basically in every episode. In 2016 I wanted to include my character in each of my videos, but I soon ditched this idea as a lot of these cameos would be forced. Alright folks, this whole thing was really fun, but I think I told everything interesting, so it's time to end this episode. I hope you all liked the trivia, forgotten materials like these storyboards and the deleted scene, and all this other stuff. Now you know much more about the production of Pilot. Perhaps there are still some things I haven't told you about, but I'm sure there are some minor ones. That saying, thank you very much for watching and stay tuned for new videos. Goodbye and see you all in another episode of